UV map all rendered out, what you want to do is, we can leave 3ds Max open, but what I want you to do is go ahead and open up Photoshop. And while Photoshop is loading, some things that you should do is go onto Google Images, or any kind of like royalty-free image site, and you can find some different renders from video games. If you want to use an image that you created yourself, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But what we want to do is we want to add materials to the two sides of the video game that are going to show what game it is. And we also want to add logos of what the game is called. So for this example, I got a few different images from Tron, and I'm going to be using those images on either side of my arcade machine. And I found a PNG image, so an image that has no background, of the Tron logo that I'm going to place on the two headers that we have here. So once this opens up, I will go ahead and open up my files. And I will actually go ahead and pause this tutorial for now to give you some time to find your images and for me to get this set up. Alright, so it looks like we're up and running here. So I found this image from Google, this image from Google, and a PNG logo of Tron. So notice I have no background on this. And then I loaded in my arcade UVW that I rendered out from 3ds Max. So it's a little bit hard to see right now. So we're going to go ahead and add on that black background that we want. So I'll go down here in Photoshop to add a new layer. And if I go over to my paint bucket tool, which could be hidden under your gradient tool, I'm going to go ahead and add a black background. I'll drag layer 1 underneath layer 0, and we'll see exactly the area that we want to work with here. So you can add whatever color you want for the background. I'm going to work with black because I think it's going to look nice. So let's go ahead and start off with these two areas here. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this texture and do a Control V in here. So I went over here, I did Control A to select all, Control C to copy that, went back to my arcade UVW and I did Control V to paste that into my scene. So what I can do with this is I need to go ahead and move it around and scale it to look the way I want it to. So I'm going to do Control T, as in Tom, Control T to transform. And let's say I want this to come right about here. So what you're going to be seeing is simply this shape, or this area here, whatever is within the green. So once you get that the way you want it, you can apply it to the entire side, whatever you want. But I'm going to start to trim this up because I don't want this bleeding onto my other side here. So I'm going to go to my polygonal lasso tool. So if you click and hold on your lasso and go down to polygonal lasso, you can actually start to just kind of like click out some of these points here. I'm going to hold on Shift to make a straight line. Go up here. Let's go right here and then finish this up. So I'll take my selection and I'm going to say delete. So that's gone. And now we can do Control D and that'll deselect that. So let's go back to this texture over here. And I'm going to do something very similar. So I'm going to do Control A to select all, Control C to copy it, go back to my UVW map, do Control V to paste. Now this one is much, much bigger. So let's do Control T to scale it down. And we'll scale it. And I actually want this to take up a little bit more space. So I want to see him on a lot of the screen here. So I like the way that looks. So I'm going to say, actually let's maybe scale it down a little bit more. Maybe something like that. I kind of want to be able to see the disc. So the disc and the hand. So let's see, I like that. That looks good. And it's actually in line with my other one, so it's perfect. So I'll say enter to amend that. And now let's go back to my polygonal lasso tool. Let's cut out what we don't need. So I'll start over here. And we'll say delete. And now let's do the same thing on the other side. Alright, and say delete again. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now I'll do Control D to deselect that. And let's get some logos in here. So let's go back to my Tron logo. I'll do Control A to select all. Control C to copy. Go back over here. Let's do Control V. Oh, it didn't work. Let's try it again. Alright, so if your copy doesn't work, what you can do is you can undock this, and we can simply just... Not sure why this is doing this for me. Let me try opening that one more time. Alright, so I'm going to just drag that in there and say yes. And I'm going to go ahead and rename my layers just so they're a little bit easier to understand. So I'm going to name this logo. I'm going to name this BG for background. Layer 2 is, well, we can just keep that there. We can just call this render 1. Call this render 2, and we'll just call layer 0, which is on top, our UVW. Great. So now if I go back to my logo, I'm actually going to do Control J to make a copy of that and hide the original. And let's go ahead and do Control T to scale that down. Alright, that looks good. And you can put this wherever you want. If you prefer down here, up there, doesn't matter to me. Let's do another Control C, or do a Control J to make a copy of that. Let's drag it over here, and that looks pretty good. So I actually want to do the same thing for these two areas up here. So remember, this is my front piece, this is my other front piece, and this is my where my joysticks and buttons are. So I'll do another Control J of that logo. And let's go ahead and make one right here. And I'm going to scale that down just a little bit. Awesome. And let's do Control J of that object. So apply the transformation. And let's bring that right down here as well. If you want to add any images in here, that's great. Whatever you'd like to do. So now I think I'm going to bring in this image. So what I can do is I can just, oops, not that one, drag this into here. Let's see. Okay, let's just drag this in. Do Control T to scale that down. And I'm using Control plus and Control minus to scale that. Alright, just like that. That looks pretty cool. And now let's apply that transformation and go over to my marquee selection tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete the parts I don't need. So I don't need that. Don't want that. Don't want that. And then I can delete this little part over here, but that doesn't really matter. Great. And finally, let's go ahead and take one of, let's take this copy. We'll do Control J. No? Oops, I still had that one selected, so Control J. And then let's bring that up over here. Perfect. It's actually kind of hard to see, but you know, I don't have time to look for another image. If you do, I recommend that you would fix that, but that's fine for me for now. Excellent. So moving forward, we're going to finish this up. What I want you guys to do is I want you to go ahead and hide that UVW just so we're working with these textures. And I want you to go ahead and save as a PSD in whatever folder you're working with. So go ahead and say save. And then I'm also going to save as a, try this again, save as a JPEG. Great. And in the next tutorial, I will show you how to add it onto your arcade machine.